It has been a full 8 months since we've seen the Tigers play, and there have been a lot of changes since. New coordinators, new assistant coaches. There's also been change internally for DJ Uiagalelei. Still got 90 minutes to go before tip-off here between the Tigers and 7th-ranked Duke. The students have been waiting outside for hours. They're already in their seats, and as you can see, they are ready to go. It is that type of crowd that has made this place very difficult for Duke to play. A Notre Dame fan actually said earlier in the day, wow, I see a lot of Clemson folks walking around. That's how much we have seen of the Clemson contingent that has made the trip. Yeah, hey, Rashad, the nation's longest active win streak is no longer. Clemson had won 14 straight games dating back to last season, but that consecutive win streak is up in smoke after Notre Dame overwhelmed the Tigers here in South Bend tonight. And Clemson knew that this was going to be a big boy football game. All week they spoke about needing to match the physicality and the aggressiveness of Notre Dame up front. And frankly, they just never did. Hey, Rashad, for the second time in the last 5 years, the South Carolina Gamecocks are national champions, and I'm going to step out of the way because, as you can see, Dawn Staley at the top of the ladder, at the top of the profession, and the South Carolina Gamecocks at the top of the NCAA as she dances on the ladder and cuts down the nets. No playoffs for the Panthers, but no quit from Carolina, trying to finish out an impressive 3-month run under interim head coach Steve Wilks. Carolina closing up the season Sunday in New Orleans. Saints sending their love to Damar Hamlin. As for the game, a fireworks show. This was not the Panthers' only offensive touchdown of the game. Sam Darnold fumbles into the end zone. The ball's on the deck. Offensive lineman Michael Jordan falls on it first. Doesn't matter how, it counts all the same. Panthers tie it at 7. Still the same score, less than 20 seconds to go. Panthers near midfield. Can they get into field goal range? Darnold, yes, had 43 yards, half of it right there to Terrace Marshall over the middle. That gives Eddie Pinheiro a shot to play hero, and from 42 yards out with 3 seconds to go, Pinheiro delivers, and the Panthers end the season 7-10, 6 of those wins under Steve Wilks. And we showed you this last night, but it bears a rewatch, especially when it lands on the 4-letter network this morning. Furman's Mike Bothwell. Meet me at the summit. That's as good as it gets, so let's roll it back. Bothwell's highlight-worthy dunk, number 3 on ESPN SportsCenter's top 10 plays from last night. My goodness, what's that like? Paladins pummel the Citadel 102-83. Furman leading the SoCon with 7 games to go. To college basketball now, and to say no one saw Saturday's showdown in the Steel City coming is an understatement. Clemson and Pitt picked to finish in the bottom third of the ACC in the conference's preseason poll. But in a league that's been anything but predictable so far, only 2 teams still perfect in the ACC entering play on Saturday, Clemson and Pitt. It has been nearly 14 years since Terry Don Phillips backed Dabo Swinney, dropping the interim title and officially naming him Tigers head coach. 7 ACC championships and 6 playoff berths later, Swinney's rewarded that faith and then some. One of 2 coaches in the country with multiple national titles on his ledger, and he was rewarded Thursday with a record new deal. This is some type of stage for 2 relatively unknown quarterbacks to step into. Clemson's Cade Klubnik, highly touted, making his first career start. Tennessee's Joe Milton, just his second start of the season, filling in for the injured Hendon Hooker. Neither quarterback lacking in confidence. You mentioned it's a spectacle. It is made for TV. So, of course, before they go in, they have to have the trucks and boats cleaned and washed, looking good. We got pups in the front seat here, and we're about to introduce you to Chris Zaldane from Fort Worth, Texas, one of 55 anglers competing this weekend. Chris, how long have you been competing on the Elite Series? Adversity is the companion of the champion or the adversary of the week. So said Dabo Swinney after his Tigers bounced back Saturday in Death Valley against Louisville. A week after getting manhandled by Notre Dame, Clemson's defense was everywhere. Multiple pressures, 9 tackles for loss, and 2 turnovers forced, led by linebackers Barrett Carter and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. And while the offense was far from perfect, Will Shipley with a jaw-dropping third-quarter touchdown might be the play of the year and had everyone talking. Shane Beamer believes his Gamecocks are a really good SEC football team, and that very well may still be the case. There is a long season ahead and a lot of games left, but Saturday's lopsided loss to the nation's #1 ranked team reminded South Carolina just how far they still have to go. This truly is such a beautiful stadium. Clemson's first time playing in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You see the famed Halo video board and all the natural light in here. It truly is a wonder. One thing you will not see tonight is a completely sold-out stadium. They have closed off the upper deck, so capacity is expected to hit about 42,000 compared to what 71,000 at max capacity. We've still got plenty more coverage coming from Mercedes-Benz Stadium, including a look at DJ Uiagalelei willing to bet on himself after a disappointing season a year ago. But for now in Atlanta, I'm Marc Whiteman, WYFF News 4 Sports. After last week's loss to South Carolina, Clemson hoping to get their passing game back on track tonight after throwing for less than 100 yards against South Carolina. And on the other side of the ball, defensively, it all comes down to slowing down UNC quarterback Drake May. Now, I don't get a chance to drive as fast as Jeff or Ty or anyone else that we've had a chance to ride around with this afternoon, but do you have any advice for me before we hop in the Camry?
Oh, you're going to have a great time. I think the biggest thing I will tell you is you saw it when you're riding around. You don't think of Charlotte Motor Speedway as having elevation. Be careful of those blind corners in the infield. At least know where you're going, see where you're going before you get there.
Do you have any advice for me as we get out on the Roval?
So that big white thing out there, don't hit that. That's the key. Don't hit that big wall.
So we hopped in the Camry, Xfinity Series driver Ty Gibbs riding along in the passenger seat. So while the drivers get all the glory, it is the pit crew that's the real backbone of any quality racing team. And Trackhouse Racing, one of the newest teams on the Cup Series, kind enough to walk us through a practice pit stop this afternoon. I gave it a try. Even our photographer Dustin hopped out from behind the camera to give it a go as well.
Camera, I need it earlier than that. Gun off. The nut's going to be here. You pull the tire. He's going to put the tire on. Go to tighten. Put that nut on and tighten it up with that tire.
Okay. So on there, pull. Yeah. Tighten it up. All right, cool. I think I got this. Yeah. Let's see how this goes.
You got it.
Well, what is there left to say after a game like that? But wow, it has been more than a decade since Clemson and Wake Forest played a matchup that was decided by single digits, but they delivered an instant classic on Saturday in Winston-Salem, and on an afternoon where the Tigers' vaunted defense was shredded by Wake Forest quarterback Sam Hartman to the tune of 6 touchdowns, DJ Uiagalelei responded with the signature game of his college career. Powdersville and BHP, the two favorites for their 3A region title, facing each other tonight. Patriots at 4-1 off their bye week, leading 28-17 in the third. Thomas Williams, shifty, the Virginia Tech commit with the Power 5 moves. That makes it 35-17. Bears punting now in our USC Upstate play of the week. Harrison Jeffries, stuffage. Brendan Wirtz, scoopage. And that is a special teams score for Powdersville. Patriots and the Bears, their first loss of the year, 47-32. Daniel has won 3 straight region championships, their first region game of this season against the Razorbacks of Walhalla. Walhalla get the ball to begin, and TJ Boyd, he's off right up the sideline in front of the Daniel bench. Oh, that puts Walhalla in winning field position. He takes it all the way down the field, and Bryce Payne from there pops it in for the 1-yard touchdown. 8-0, but Daniel gets the ball. Torrey Shaw, front porch. Yes, sir. First of many for Daniel, 56-14. The Lions win again. Stetson Bennett's long since risen past plucky underdog, just happy to be here. The former walk-on story is well documented, and his play has the Bulldogs on the precipice of another national championship, which would undoubtedly cement him as the greatest quarterback in Georgia history, if he's not already there. First, it's Heisman night for Bennett, one of 4 finalists. A very happy new year to you and yours. Okay, what were you watching at midnight? Turned into a pretty healthy debate in households everywhere, I imagine. Didn't mind the iconic ball drop in NYC to ring in 2023, or at almost the exact same time, the decisive kick in the waning seconds of the Peach Bowl, which Noah Ruggles missed badly to push Georgia back into the Natty for a second straight year. We know what Julia Morris was watching. She was in Atlanta as red and black confetti fell once more.